Are you interested in setting up a Salesforce community group? Some examples are user groups, developer groups, nonprofit groups, marketing groups, and so much more. This video covers how to set up a community group. Welcome to 100 Days of Trailhead, where the tech community comes to learn Salesforce, learn tech, get inspired, and invest in ourselves. We are your trail guides, here to support you on your learning journey. We release videos weekly. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. In the description below, you can find links for everything we mention in this video, as well as books and resources we found useful. Visit our blog, 100daysoftrailhead.com, for other helpful Salesforce and tech content. Learn everything you need to consider to set up a community group in your area that can thrive and grow. Mark Jones is a trailblazer community group leader for Salesforce administrators in the Northeast in England. His background is originally in administration and printing. Now he focuses on database development, particularly using Salesforce, and he is currently the data coordinator for Oasis Community Housing.
Hello everybody, my name is Mark Jones, and in this video I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to set up a Salesforce community group in your area. I'm the co-leader of the Salesforce user group in Newcastle upon Tyne in England, and it's really great to be with you here via video for this particular tips video. So a little bit about me before we dive in. I'm the data coordinator and solo administrator for a national UK homelessness non-profit charity called Oasis Community Housing, where I manage and oversee all of the technical aspects of their Salesforce org. I'm also a 3-time ranger on Trailhead, and as I mentioned, I am the co-leader of the Newcastle upon Tyne Salesforce user group over in the northeast of England. I've been part of the Trailblazer mentorship program as a mentor, and over the last 3 years, I've had the opportunity to speak at a community conference each year. Inspire East in 2019, the X-Force Data Summit in 2020, and most recently, in January of this year, I was a speaker at Nonprofit Dreaming. So a bit about my journey as a Salesforce user and a community group leader. I joined the ecosystem in 2016 as an accidental admin. Basically, the story goes that I applied for a job as an admin assistant, essentially, and during the interview, the chief executive of that particular charity, which is different to the one I'm working with now. So the chief executive asked me, have I seen Salesforce before? And I answered in a way which was probably slightly naive and said, yes, I've seen Salesforce because it was on the job description. And I hadn't seen it before that. So I did some research on Salesforce leading up to that job interview. So I got the job, and I was basically told from the get-go I was having to develop and build their Salesforce org from scratch. So that was my kind of introduction into the community. Then in 2017, I moved on from that organization into the nonprofit charity Oasis Community Housing that I'm working in now, and that is still where I'm at today. Then in 2019, I applied to become a community group leader in my area. And the reason for that really was simply because that I had gotten into a position where I'd been using Salesforce for about 3 years at that point. And I was finding that because of the nature of my role as being the solo admin, I didn't really have that many people to talk to who were as invested or had the kind of the knowledge and experience with Salesforce on a technical level that I had or would need for good conversation in some things that I was either finding a little bit frustrating, some things I was finding maybe a little bit difficult. Essentially, I got to the point where it was like, I feel like I'm on a bit of an island here. There's more people in the area that are using Salesforce, but we don't have any community groups. So that's why I decided to apply to set one up, because I wanted to create a community around Salesforce users in my area. Because I thought, if I feel like this, if I feel a bit on the alone side, there's going to be others who feel the same. So that's why I decided to set that up. And in 2020, that group officially began. Although I applied the year before, there were some personal circumstances in my life which meant that the first event didn't happen until the following year. So that happened in February of last year. And towards the middle of the year, the group transitioned to being a co-led group. Originally, I was the leader of the group, and at the same time, somebody else set up a group which was exactly the same as mine, but the geographical difference was basically you walk across a bridge, and you can be 10 minutes walk across this bridge, and you're in where my group was officially located. 10 minutes walk the other way, you're in where this other guy's group was officially located. So we talked about kind of our vision for what we want to achieve, and we found that we were very much in alignment. So we decided to join up and co-lead the group together. And that gets us to where we're at today in terms of the community group journey. Now, in terms of the top tips, I've got 5 quick tips for you. These aren't exactly an exhaustive list. There are going to be plenty of other things that may be applicable. There's also going to be a lot of pointers in here which you can take away potentially as separate tips entirely. So what I'd love to see happen is to see you put comments in the comment section below, telling us what you thought about these tips, and if you have any of your own. You might be watching this as a group leader yourself, and you might kind of go, oh, well, Mark, you haven't included this point. I would love to hear from you, either in the comments section below in this video or via social media. My LinkedIn and Twitter handles are coming up later at the end of this particular session. So the first tip I have is about thinking it through before you dive right in. And let me just say the reason for this is because if you want to set up a community group, you need to be setting up for the right reasons. So let me just tell you what the right reasons aren't. I'll put it that way. So if you're looking to set up a group to kind of elevate your own platform, to kind of make more of a name for yourself, or if you're looking to use it as a kind of a recruitment drive to get people to come and work for your company, those are 2 reasons why you probably shouldn't set up a community group. A community group, as it says in the title, is for the community. Community groups leaders should be those who are wanting to help see the Salesforce community around them grow and thrive. Now, in some cases, that may mean people come and work for your company. That's different, but the primary reason should be you want to help those in the community around you. You want to see them get the most out of using Salesforce. You want to provide them with really good quality content to help them improve and develop in the work that they do. So think it through before you dive in, and remember that setting up a group to promote yourself is a big no-no. You should be looking to be supporting others. That's what the community group is for. The second tip I want to cover is about deciding what type of group you want to go and set up. And if you go through the Trailblazer community group program, as I have done, there are certain types of groups that you can set up. There are groups for administrators, there's group for developers, there's marketing groups for users of Pardot and users of Marketing Cloud. There's also women in tech. There's also groups for higher education and general users groups. So the group that I run is the general users group, but you might want to set up a group for admin specifically. So if you're the kind of group you want to set up is more kind of like job or industry specific, the community program for the Trailblazer community groups might be the right option for you. If you want to, however, set up something that's a bit less formal and look at doing something around just kind of getting people together over cups of coffee to do stuff around Trailhead, like learning through Trailhead modules and trails, then maybe going through the Salesforce Saturday scheme is a bit of a better option for you. So there's different ways to set up groups, and there's different types of groups that are available out there. So just decide what kind of group you want to set up. And as a side note as well, if the kind of group you are thinking about setting up doesn't fit within the normal conventions, there may be other ways to kind of set those things up. If you want to see examples of that, you can have a look at the data tribes. There's one in Chicago and there's one in London, or you can have a look at Virtual Agile. Those 2 kinds of groups don't really fit with the general Salesforce Saturday program or the Trailblazer community group program. So if what is in your head maybe doesn't fit with them, there is other possibilities out there that you could potentially look at setting up. The third tip to include is see what kind of groups are currently available where you live at. So the Trailblazer Community Group program is based on cities. So you have groups in cities. So what you can do there is check to see what groups are available in your city. You know, if you're wanting to set up an admin group, does one already exist in the same place? If one does, then, but there isn't, say, a general user group, could you maybe set up a general user group instead? These are the kind of things to think through as well on that front. So as I said, there's a lot of different groups you can set up. So have a look and see what's available in your area. And if the group you want to set up is in your area already, maybe you can get a bit more involved in that group, help offer your support, and see how things go with that. But what you don't really want to try and do is oversaturate the availability. If there's an admin group already in your city, avoid setting one up. That's what I would say. And in fact, the community group program probably won't let you do that anyway. So tip number 4 is about actually getting yourself involved in the community. It sounds almost like a very simplistic point, and this one could have easily been number 1, but I've included it here because sometimes when you start up a group and there's not really that much in your area, you're not maybe as involved in the community as you could be. So have a look to see what kind of groups you can attend, whether there's ones close enough to you to travel within reason, or if there's ones like particularly at the moment where pretty much every group is virtual. You could join groups from anywhere in the world just about right now. So you can have a look at going to those, supporting their leaders, and this will help you actually network with people, help you get to know more people within the community. Because one of the things that is a very good resource is having people that you can turn to ask for either advice, for input, or to even ask to come to your sessions as guest speakers. So get involved in the community, go to other group sessions, support groups that's nearby you, obviously within reason when you go back to normal and you travel around. Have a look at what community conferences you can attend as well. Depending on where you are in the world, you may have quite a big community conference nearby you. Where I live in the UK, the community conference for us would be London Streaming. London's Calling, not London Streaming, London's Calling. So you look and see what you can attend and use them as opportunities to learn for yourself, also to get around other people as well. And the 5th and final tip I want to share is about investing in the relevant knowledge to your group. Now, let me preface this by saying, if you're setting up, say, a general user group, you don't have to be an expert in every single thing that you run a session on. That's one of the things you can rely on guest speakers to help provide. Guest speakers would be the experts if you're having them, a guest speaker present at a particular session. But what you might find is people within your group will come to you because you're the leader, asking you opinions, asking you questions based on sessions that have gone on, or they might come to you and ask you questions based on the job that you do. So investing a little bit of time learning new skills or build up on skills you've already got. Have a look at these kind of things. So a good example of this would be with last year, dynamic forms and dynamic actions came into being on Salesforce essentially. And so that's quite one of the big popular new bits of functionality within Salesforce. So maybe learn a bit about dynamic forms could help because it's keeping up on trends with Salesforce. You could also say, for example, if you're in the lean develop group, keeping up your knowledge on things like Flow and Apex. Follow the trends that Salesforce is pushing and try and have enough knowledge to be able to talk about those kind of things if they come up. And the point I would say with that is to remember that Trailhead is your best friend. There's lots of relevant modules for community leaders, particularly around sessions on how to deliver virtual presentations, how to speak at conference events. All of those kind of things are relevant, as well as any modules, any trails, supervisors, etc., that are on the particular topic that you're doing for that session. So invest in your relevant knowledge. And with that, that's all the tips I've got. As I mentioned, if you have any comments or any views or any opinions, I'd love to hear them. You can either connect with me on social media at any of the links shown below on this, or you can comment in the comment section below in this video here. I would love to hear from you, to be honest. So I wanted to say a very quick thank you for watching this video, and I hope this stuff helps. Being part of a community group as a leader is a tremendous privilege, and it's something that is really, really good to do. So if there's something you are considering, hopefully these tips help you out. If they trigger something, kind of make you think, oh, how can I do this? Again, please feel free to get in touch. I'll be more than happy to talk to you virtually on either on Zoom or something like that. So again, thank you for watching, and hopefully you've gotten quite a bit out of this. So thank you.
And with that, we're at the end. What type of community group are you considering building? What are you hoping the group will accomplish? Comment below. We would also love to hear what video topics you want us to cover in future videos in the comments. If you've made it to this point, we want to take an opportunity to say thank you. Since you've stayed with us, let's listen as Mark provides us with a bonus tip for starting a community group.
And for a bonus tip, what I want to say is about don't expect too much of yourself. And let me put this little bit of a caveat on here. It's good to dream big with your groups. It is good to have these big and wonderful ideas that you can deliver on. However, we have to be able to not make it too hard on ourselves when things maybe don't go according to plan. Let me give you an example of this. I put together a session for our group that I really, really was looking forward to. And it was around Trailhead Go, the mobile application for using Trailhead. And for me, that kind of application was something that was really, it was something that I really wanted to come about. I really wanted to see this happen. And when it did, it was like, yes, finally. So I got really, really excited about that. So I put quite a bit of work into putting together the material for that session, a bit of the content, worked with our co-leader to actually make the session work well. And on the night, we had 2 people. And that's not quite that uncommon at the moment with virtual events. There's a lot of groups out there that have struggled with numbers. So if you've got a session that you've really put some work in and you're really excited for, and you don't get the turnout that you want, what I want to encourage you in is to try not to take that too hard on yourself, because in reality, more sessions that I've run and more sessions that I know of in terms of the numbers have had around about a 50% or higher drop off. You're always going to get more people registering to come to the event than actually turn up. What you want to see as a group leader is a good core building up of people in your area. So if you've got, say, an event where you've got 50 registrations, 20 turn up, and you've got a good core of that 20 people or people from your local area, from your city where you're hosting your sessions, that's really, really good. So just remember, it's not the end of the world if people don't turn up. And just take encouragement as well that Salesforce as a platform has enough interest behind it that people will come to your sessions. you probably won't find a session where nobody turns up. That is very, very doubtful. So just remember that, if you get less numbers than you want, that's fine. That's fine. Just don't take it too hard on yourself. Work hard, put the sessions together, and you'll see the fruit of that coming about. It might take a bit of time to see that fruit coming, but you will see it. So I just want to encourage you with that as my bonus tip. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Thank you for spending time with us. Please like and subscribe to our channel because we share weekly content to support your tech and Salesforce learning journey. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss a new video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on 100daysoftrailhead.com, all of which are listed below. Thank you for learning with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.